Hickok 45 with a single action Vaquero. Where is it? Right there in my handy holster. Let's shoot some smoke and smoke some pot. Look at that. We'll start off the right way. Put a couple on that target. Look at that, bullseye. What a marksman. Can't believe it. At that long range, the guy's amazing. Did he fire 6 or did he fire 5? Yeah, he emptied it. It's a Ruger Vaquero. It says it's a pre-62 frame, and I'm not sure exactly. I'm not a Ruger expert, but it is a Lipsy's exclusive, and has 2 cylinders. So it's a pretty nice little rig. Borrowed this from my friend Dave that has lent us several firearms, and you see the transfer bar there. So we loaded 6 on this one. It seems that every time I borrow a pistol or a rifle from him, it's in 357 Magnum. It's because he loves 357 Magnum, and don't we all? Okay, so pretty nice looking firearm. You know, Ruger started making these Vaqueros in the more authentic size a while back. The new Vaquero, the old Vaqueros, I don't think they were called the old Vaqueros. I had some of them, they were just a Vaquero, but they were real tanks, and they were like this gun on steroids. And then they made the new Vaquero, which is more like the Colt size, the classic size. So pretty nice, pretty nice. So like I said, I borrowed this from a friend. This didn't come from Bud. So yeah, Ruger Vaquero, everybody knows, it's not a big secret, that the Ruger Vaquero is a well-made handgun. It just is. A lot of people, well, I think still most people who compete in cowboy action matches are firing the Ruger Vaquero. Why? Well, you know, it's not as historically correct as, of course, a Colt or a Colt clone, like a Uberti or something, Standard Manufacturing and others, U.S. Firearms. But it's close, and it is almost indestructible. They use different springs. They don't use the old style springs. And, you know, it's a Ruger. They're made plenty heavy. And even people who have a deep appreciation for a Colt single action like myself, a lot of them will tend to shoot these in matches if they're really shooting a lot of matches, practicing a lot and everything, because it's just, you know, they may have 8 Colts at home, but these are the firearms that they're just wearing out or trying to wear out. They're loading for it, they're shooting all kinds of ammo, and they might be shooting 500 rounds a week or even more, and they're just putting a lot of ammo through it, and they're cleaning them and shooting them and cleaning them and shooting them and cleaning them and shooting them, and they're not as expensive, you know, and they'll hold up to that kind of treatment for a long time, okay? So it makes a lot of sense. You know, I'm kind of a Colt snob, I love them, but these things do make so much sense. If you just, maybe you want a Colt, you know, an original, maybe a first generation to admire and hold and shoot occasionally. But you might want one of these if you're going to just to go out and shoot and knock around with and shoot, if you're going to shoot it a lot. Okay, just some thoughts, you know. I know it's dangerous when I give you thoughts, but just suggestion, and you can just hear it and tell. You know, and again, they operate differently. You open up the, for those who haven't seen our Vaquero videos, you open up the loading gate, and that releases the cylinder, so you don't have to cock the hammer halfway back and all that sort of thing. Makes it safer, right? And then, of course, you've got the transfer bar, which on the Ruger Vaquero is a transfer bar. You notice when I pull the trigger, it stays up there, and the hammer hits it and transfers the energy into the firing pin. Okay, now, if in the middle of letting that hammer fall, I drop my finger off the trigger, look what happens. So I'm not touching the trigger, so even if the hammer fell, it's not going to touch the firing pin. See that cutout on the hammer, and we've shown you that with video on this called, I don't know, hammer blocks and transfer bars or something like that. So anyway, so it's plenty safe to carry 6. You could carry 6 in this thing, and you could bang on the hammer. You know, not a wise move, but it's not going to fire the gun. All right, unlike a Colt or Colt clone. So now this one is convertible. It has 2 cylinders. I'm not sure why. Actually, I am. I'll tell you what my buddy did. He brought this out several months back, and you know, she, look at what I got. Oh, cool, 357 Magnum. Yeah, imagine that, 357. Him. And in you know, Vaquero. So he said, yeah, go ahead and try it. So I open it up, get the 357 ammo. I know what a 357 cartridge looks like. And I started putting them in there, and they won't go in. I said, what? What? Yeah, look on the box. Look on the firearm again. And it is convertible. It has an extra cylinder, which is chambered for 9mm. Okay, get that. A very popular Old West cartridge, 9mm. Actually, it wasn't, but it does make sense because it's essentially the same diameter, very, very close. And so you can shoot that out of this firearm if you have a chambering for it. Okay, you can't put it in a 357. If you put it in there, I'll show you. It will. I think it just falls into it because it's it's not rimmed or anything. If I put one in this cylinder, well, it won't go in. Because a 9mm kind of gets fat towards the back. Okay, they're a weird case. Yeah, so it won't go in. All right, but it will in this one. See that? So that's the 9mm. All right. So anyway, he thought that was pretty funny. I'm the one always pranking people and everything, but he got me. He really did. I didn't know it was a convertible. It had a 9mm cylinder in it. He had the 9mm cylinder in it, but I didn't explain that well. And I was trying to put 357 Magnum rounds into it. Okay. So kind of a nice package. Yeah, I say it's a Lipsy's exclusive, and it's somewhere I saw it even as a Talo. I kind of consider them mutually exclusive, two different distributors, but I noticed on the Ruger website some of their firearms they've got like Lipsy's exclusives, and it'll have Talo down there too, and so I guess it has some Talo features or something, and Lipsy's, offered by Lipsy's. I'm not sure about that exactly, how that works. Some of you probably know more about it. Share the genius, okay? But distributors, for those who don't know, they wield a lot of power. That's where almost all firearms go. Manufacturers don't generally sell directly to a gun shop. They just can't deal with all that. They're busy making guns. So they sell to 4 or 5 distributors or more or less. And the distributors handle all that. They deal with the retailers, okay? And so they have a lot of power. Some of these distributors, they sell an enormous number of firearms, of course, and they get the same requests we do. Hey, I wish Ruger would make this firearm that would chamber a 9mm somehow. I've got a bunch of 9mm, whatever it might be. And so they go to Ruger and say, hey, make... whatever, 3,000 of these like this with the convertible cylinder, we'll sell them. We'll buy them, okay, and then we'll sell them. So they kind of have the power to demand certain firearms, from the manufacturers. Now the manufacturer makes it; it's not the distributors, but I guess they may commit to buying them or whatever. Look, we'll buy this many if you'll make it, and that sort of thing. So that's how these distributor specials, exclusives kind of come about, and more or less. Okay, I probably didn't explain that well, but it's something like that. Let's shoot some more 357 Magnum. How about that? I think I'll hit that. No, let's save that can. Well, yeah, I'll save it for 38 special. How's that? I want to blow something up with this Magnum stuff, like that bottle of water. Yeah, and that piece of cinder block. And the cowboy. And maybe an orange 2-liter. Woo! And maybe this Kentucky 2-liter. All right, did he fire 5 or did he fire 6? Let's find out. He had fired 5. All right, gave me an opportunity to shoot weak-handed. I told you I think I was going to practice more with my weak hand since the bone healed. I got it back here, because who knows? As dumb as I am, I might fall on this one and break it and have to do everything with my left hand instead of everything with my right hand. So, single action works the same way. Of course, ejecting rounds, you just, on the Rugers, you just have to pull open the loading gate and get them out, okay? All except the early Rugers. Sometime in the 70s, they put that transfer bar and they changed the action and made it safer, okay? And it is. I mean, you just open that and load it, close it, and you're ready to go. You're not messing with the hammer or anything. So if somebody in your family or you are a bull in a china shop, and it does make it easier to handle. Okay. So again, demonstrating the versatility of the 357. Let's shoot some 38 special. How about that? Have a gentler experience. This is a fairly heavy gun, and so, you know, if it doesn't kick badly, even with that pretty warm 357 Magnum stuff there. And so this will be very comfortable to shoot. So again, it offers a nice option for anybody in the family to take some shots. So 38 Special, let's pop a can. Boop. No recoil at all. Yee, doggies. Put one in that lid. Yeah. Let me try those green 2 liters. This might be tough. There we go. I think I fired 6. No, I didn't. Oh well, I'm gonna take those out and start over anyway. One thing I'll share with you on this one was when we were firing it, I'm so used to firing 5 and feeling like the firearm is empty that I do that even on load 6. Was that it was shooting, for me, it was shooting low. And he realized for him too, it was shooting low. And so if you got one of these with fixed sights, you can't really adjust the sights too easily. So if it was shooting low, then the option, you can't really raise the rear sight, but you can lower the front sight, okay? And so you're better off if it is shooting a little bit low than shooting way high, because what do you do then? It's harder to fix it. So you can take some metal off the front sight carefully, and that's what he's in the process of doing. And it looks like he's kind of, I don't know, he blued it or used a magic marker or something as he takes it off. So he's in the process of doing that. I think he takes off a little bit and then shoots it some more. So I think he's got it pretty close. It's for standard ammo. Now, I hadn't shot 38 Special in it until right now. You are witnessing that. And we'll do a little research for him since he was kind enough to lend this to us. And although it may not be in firing condition when he gets it back, because we are going to do the bush hog torture test on it before we get it back to him. We always do that with his firearms. Just drag them behind the tractor under the bush hog and chew it up some, see if it'll still work. All right. So we got 6 38 Special. So this shot, I'm gonna shoot the cowboy, just see where it hits. I noticed with the 357, the hotter stuff, it was firing about point of aim. That's pretty close. Okay. I was trying to hold on that first hit. So it's pretty much point of aim or just a hair low, which would make sense. And I'll tell you why in a minute. No charge. Boom. I'll try the gong. 38 Special. Got him. Try him again. Got him. Cool. So, I won't bill you for this, but what I've been seeing, I shot it the other day here, with the hot ammo, you get more recoil. Hey, brilliant, huh? And so it throws up the, you get a little muzzle rise, so it hits wherever it hits, based on where you're holding the sights. With 38 Special, you're not going to get any recoil hardly, so it's not being thrust up at all. So it may print a little bit lower, okay, even at like the cowboy range, but not much. Now with 9mm, I noticed it printed a good bit lower because even less recoil. Okay, so, oops, I don't have to cock that. So that's kind of where that is. I think he's got it really close, maybe. What I would do with this firearm is I would get that sight where I want it with the ammo I'm going to shoot the most. Let's shoot a couple more magnums, then we'll change the cylinder out if we don't get a little rain on us here. Well, actually, we don't care if we get a little bit of rain on us. So, nothing like a quote-unquote cowboy gun. And even though you don't see a lot of Vaquero action here, we've done 2 or 3 of them. They are a really nice option. They just really are. One of the best buys for the money, and they're very well made. Let's see, we not shot much over there. Let's see if I can hit a buffalo with one of these magnums. All right. It's a buffalo gun. Let's see if it's a ram gun. It's a ram gun. Let's see if it's a pig gun. If I can hit it. Okay. I got him somehow. So these are magnums. I'm going to hold right on the cowboy's nose, sort of, or hat. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a perfect point of impact for where I was holding. So Dave, if you're watching, click. I think you got it just right for the magnums. Okay. By the way, this holster, everybody always asks about them. Lucky P Ranch in Eagleville, Tennessee. That's where he lives. Dave does. Some friend of his makes holsters. I think he makes saddles. But anyway, nice holster rig. You don't have to like go to one of the major manufacturers and try to get a holster always. There's people all around the country, and I know for a fact making pretty good holsters, because they contact John and me all the time, and we don't really do holster reviews per se. We appreciate great holsters, and we end up wearing them in videos sometimes, though, of course, and don't mind, letting people know who made the holster. It's just that we don't do a lot of holster reviews. So let's go ahead and switch to the big stuff. So I open up the gate, take that cylinder out, and let's unload that cylinder before we put it in. Always advisable. Always feels strange doing this without having the hammer half cocked, for me, of course. This is nice. Now, these things aren't cheap. I noticed I found a listing on it, the Lipsey's exclusive of this exact gun. It was like $9 MSRP. Suggested retail, in other words, was like $950. So I don't know what you could actually buy one for. I think it was maybe used, and he might have traded and all that kind of thing. But so I don't know. Probably in the real world, if he found a new one like this, maybe it's $800. I don't know. The MSRP is usually not what you pay for any firearm. Oh, good. You got a little sprinkling, but we're going to get some 9mm slung down range here. Now this really feels weird, sticking 9mm rounds in with my thumb like this. This Old West cartridge. I mean, the 9mm is an old cartridge, you realize, of course, but it wasn't a big round back in the Old West in the 1800s until, let's see, I should know this. Oh my gosh, the 9mm came about, John, around late 1890s, am I right? Yeah, okay. So now this is not going to kick, believe me. Let's try that lid again. Boom. Okay, to demonstrate what I was telling you and to show you I was not lying, I'm going to hold on the cowboy right on where that hit is on his hat. Try to. Okay, do another one. That was a bad flinch. Okay, so those two hits I was holding, they were pretty good releases on that hit right in the middle of his hat there. So that shows you, if I put 357s back in and held there, that hit, if I did a good job of shooting, that hit right where that first one is. So that's whatever, gosh, what is it, 25 yards or something. But so that's what I was telling you. The 9mm is no recoil really, and I think I have another round. So let's put it on the gong. So I'm going to hold on the top of the gong because it's going to print lower, right? Went left. I saw it. I saw it hit that brown leaf. There we go. But I was aiming at that brown leaf, and I hit that brown leaf. Okay, so she's empty. So that's pretty neat. You can fire 9mm with it. You would just have to decide, where you want it to print. One option would be with 357 Magnum, even if you thought you were going to shoot that the most. I'm just thinking out loud about what I might, maybe I'd take a little more off, I don't know, and let it print so I hold more of a 6 o'clock hold at say 25 yards, and let it go ahead and hit just a little bit high, and that way the 9mm 38 special would hit pretty much on target. I don't know, it's kind of a tricky thing there. Whatever you're going to shoot the most is where you give priority. I'll shoot 6 more of those. I'll get both cylinders dirty so I can clean them all up. All right, Ruger Vaquero, they're pretty nice. They're really solid revolvers. What have we not shot here? Let's put it back in the holster. It's kind of a nifty little thumb, but not thumb, but a hammer holder, isn't it? It's pretty clever. Then you can adjust if it loosens up. I kind of like that holster. So that's why you see in the movies the cowboys think they might be walking into danger. First of all, if they're carrying 5, which they should be on their old Colts, and probably are, they might load another round, and if it's in the holster, they're going to get that thumb strap off there, hammer strap off there, aren't they? So they can draw that thing and take care of business. I was expecting recoil. Forgot I had the 9 in there. And now, one thing I was going to bring out, and I didn't. I don't think I put my hands on any. Was some hotter 9mm with a, some carry ammo. It might print actually closer to where the 357 is printing, because this is just regular range ammo. But now, my thinking is you're probably not going to carry this as a. If you carry it as a defensive gun, you're probably going to carry some hot 38 special or some 357, and that kind of thing. And the 9mm usage in this firearm is most likely going to be some range ammo. Why? Because that's one of the attractions of it. You go out and plink around less expensively. Does that make sense? Am I a genius or what? So let's wrap up by putting the big boy cylinder back in and shoot 6 more 357 Magnums. How's that? I like the way the watch me say it out loud and then it hang up on me, but the cylinders, oops, I closed that. Why did I do that? The cylinders interchange, easy to go in and out, the base pin and all that, which can be really annoying if they're tight. So shoot some Magnums to wrap it up. So you see how easy it is to change out the cylinder, to have 2 different firearms. So I'm always talking about the versatility of 357 because of the wide range of ammo. There's hotter 357 Magnum, there's heavier bullets, lighter bullets in Magnum. You got all kinds of 38 special. I hear somebody didn't even fire. Lead round nose, full metal jacket, 38 special. That stuff's pretty light, fun to shoot, good range ammo. So just a wide array. And then including everything the 9mm offers and all the various cartridges available for it. So I'd say he made a pretty smart purchase, especially for him, because he's really not very smart. But with this purchase, he demonstrated at least one day he was pretty smart. Just kidding. No, he's a sharp guy, actually. Other than not being too smart, lending me his firearms for torture tests, let's hit the tree. Yeehaw! 357 Magnum. We'll knock him around. No question. Look at that. Gotta hit him though. Let's hit something else. Got, I think 2 rounds maybe left. How about that little bitty plate down there? Boom. I might have one more. Oh gosh, and I missed, didn't I? All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I just lied to you. Since I missed, I'm just gonna throw some at the gong here, okay? Before we go away and leave you lonely and sad. Of course, you can always go back and watch it again, right? If you're really sick. All right, let's just throw at the gong. got one more round. Let's put it on the cowboy. I don't want to quit on a miss. I don't want to risk missing the gong because it could happen. So anyway, that's all 6, and pretty neat firearm. And by the way, when you pull that open, you can't fire the gun. It disables everything, and so it's a true safety and totally different mechanism, right, from the Colts or Colt clones. All right, so the Vaquero, Lipsy's exclusive. I don't know if you can find these things, again, it is a Vaquero, so there's no big mystery on what a Vaquero is, and just a handy little firearm, no doubt about it. I haven't really talked about negatives. Again, it's not supposed to be a Colt clone. It's a lot like one, and it's just what it is. It is what it is. One thing about the grips in my hand are a little thin. I would like a little thicker grip, but it feels good. It feels just like a single action should. I'm a poet and don't know it. So, and one thing that's kind of nice, be sure you read the instruction manual and all that stupid stuff that ends up on the Ruger barrels. It's on the bottom down here where you almost don't see it. So there's nothing like up here to see. So that's kind of a nice thing, isn't it? So anyway, pretty nice, nice pistol. Nice version of the Ruger Vaquero. A very, very versatile version, right? So we appreciate my buddy Dave lending this to us, and anytime I want to borrow a 357, I just go through his vast collection because he doesn't have anything, I believe, that's not a Ruger or 357 Magnum chambering. Okay, so anyway, appreciate y'all coming by, appreciate you supporting all the people that support us, and we'll probably see you down the road. Life is good.
Oh, hi, didn't see you there. I was just playing my favorite country and western song. While I've got you here, I want to remind you to check out our friends over at SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. You can find them at sdi.edu. They are a fully accredited online distance learning program where you can become get an associate's degree in firearms technology or become certified in gunsmithing. So if you're interested in a career like that, please go check them out, sdi.edu. Also, while you're on the internet, please go to hickok45.com and see everything we have over there. We have all of our social media links and all that kind of thing, like full30.com, links to our store. We have t-shirts now that you can acquire for yourself through Bunker Branding. Matt from Demolition Ranch's new company. It's Hickok45 on Twitter, just to save you the time from going to the website. Hickok45 on Facebook. The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John Hickok YouTube channel. There's a John_Hickok45 Instagram where I post some stuff. So please go check that out. And then I'm going to get back to playing this country song.